some of the entries, they give very good responses to urban context.
Yeah.
And I don't think everything needs to be very bland within the inner city environment. You need to use the scale and diverse number of elements to address the rhythm, the scale, and the context of the city.
I think another thing that was interesting for me is the huge variety of the projects, the approaches, the materials. And I think if we look at the winners, we don't have one aesthetic, we don't have one message. And obviously different places, different sites, different functions, different types of buildings need different responses. So I think it's good that we were able to have a good mixture of projects.
I like Canadian guys, the slightly random 5, 4, 6, 8, 7, 9, 6 guys who sort of multiple unit low-rise housing, which is pretty unglamorous and pretty, has the potential to be pretty unremarkable. They brought something special to all of the projects they showed. That was worthy of comment, worthy of reward.
One of the things that was missing really, that I'm expecting more, there's one or two that used reused materials or used garbage materials or these sorts of things, which seem to me to be, that is something for the 21st century, that this whole sense of recycling is going to be important. But there weren't many entries that had that as a starting point for making architecture. Sort of comment.
I think that's quite right. I think it's very difficult to do so. To find a client who wants you to, build something second-hand. If I can put it like that. So it's more adapting what already exists than starting with second-hand materials.
I think interesting enough, you might be able to do that more for smaller projects.
Yeah.
Whereas for very big commercial projects, I think that's always very difficult.
Well, but that was something that the rural urban framework guys did, which was reused materials, and which is how they managed to deliver those fantastic buildings so cheaply. And that's why,
I think doing more with less is another theme. I was particularly impressed by the people who produced, wonderful urban environments and/or living spaces, but actually didn't put much money into the building. I still think that the biggest drive to sustainability for me, or the successful drive, is doing more with less, not adding more things to a building. In other words, multiple layers, adding kit. That's not the right approach. The right approach is stripping it back. And I thought we saw a lot of that, which is good.
I think, however, what really struck me was there wasn't a lot of submissions exploring the future of workplaces, which is quite a big thing. There are a lot of residential projects which try to do a lot of different things like flexibility and environmental responses, but in a commercial environment, retail, offices, there's not a lot of new groundbreaking ideas.
Or transport.
Or transport.
And I'd love to see a new take on art galleries and museums as well, because I think I'm a bit bored with it all being about form.
And space.
And space.